Good afternoon. Hopefully broadcasting. Hope you're all well. I didn't lay any of the late draws, but Shanghai Shenhua, as you can see, coming from 2 goals down, but they've just been red carded. I wonder if their opponent can get us the goal. So let's just get to the live stream. Chelsea, much improved. Disappointing not to have seen a goal second half, but I didn't lay the late draw. In that one, the momentum was middle, meaning no one side absolutely dominant with the attacking stats. Goal in the back of the net quite a few times, penalty shouts and everything else. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is okay. As you can see, this is not loading, which is not a good sign. I can't help this Wi-Fi. It's very disappointing, but thankfully it's come at the end of the August to April session, so we haven't been hugely impacted. I don't know if I'm talking to anybody, because as you can see, this isn't coming up at the moment. Here we go. So if I do disappear, my apologies, but you know the story. So let's have a look. 230s, Hoffenheim 1.44 favourite, very strongly fancy today. All right, we're getting there. So hopefully things are working. Hello, Nick, and hello, John. And hello, Bosun. Nice to see you all. I can't see anything at the moment. I hope you can see. There we go. The software has begun. Now, please remember, if I disappear, the Wi-Fi will have temporarily dropped, but kicked me out of the session. So apologies in advance. Football 24, well, pity about that. Shanghai Shenhua. I doubt Chongdong will take advantage. I was looking for Shanghai Shenhua to put a cap on it, get that win. Moving on down, we can get rid of the Danes into Turku, watching that one. 2-0 lead as per the market. So we can get rid of that one as well. Salzburg did equalise eventually. 1.8 home favourite. Not too interested at this stage of the season. We're going to get very interested once these major leagues are gone. Norway will be a very important league. Castillon thoroughly deserving that lead in La Liga 2. We can check the live positions. This is going to be a vitally important website. Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you. It's going to be a vitally important website today, particularly for French Ligue 2. And you can see the fact these are taking a while to load is not a good sign for me. I hope I don't disappear too early. Lots of bankers today as well, as you can see there. Shanghai Shenhua, one of them. But that red card, there we go, making that 2-2. I did have a little play in that one. Shanghai Shenhua. Without insurance, naughty me. Backing them +1 without insurance. They did make it 2-2. Coming up, well, Middlesbrough Southampton, second consecutive 0-0 in the Championship playoffs. And Middlesbrough, again, this is the problem they've been having in the playoffs. They're not in the run-up to the playoffs. It's flattering to deceive. Southampton will be absolutely delighted with this. Goals at home, home advantage, second leg. They can't ask for more than that. Fabulous stuff from the Saints. Very big Guernsey link with Southampton. Lee Luscombe, Matt Letitia et al. Stevenage and Bolton, as ever. I've done at footballtradingprofits.com. We've done a look at the historical results, so you can have a check of those. And that 0-0 is bang on the button with these historical first leg, quarter-final, semi-final results. French Ligue 2 will be busy at 7 p.m. It's the last day of the season. The matches starred are the ones of importance. It's a story of just finishing the job at the top of French Ligue 2. I think I've got a... let's have a look. I think this is French Ligue 2. If it will open. No, it's not. Okay. I did take a screenshot of French Ligue 2. This is... But never mind. It's 7 p.m, so it's not going to affect us now. Bundesliga. Mighty Hoff have not scored yet, 6 minutes in, but the Werder Bremen red card is pretty much sayonara for them today. Hoffenheim at odds of 2.15 last week. Very, very impressive indeed. This is licking their lips, confirmed Champions League status, etc. for the Mighty Hoff, who've had an exceptional season. You don't hear me saying that very often. Consistent as well. What on earth's going on? It's one of the signs of the apocalypse when the Hoff start playing consistent football. You can see with the Wi-Fi, these pages are slower than Teddy Sheringham over 100 metres. You can see with the Hoff today, they can upgrade while Bayer Leverkusen are dangling 4th place on 59 points. The Hoff, with a win, will get there. But to Bayer Leverkusen suddenly finding their feet, 4 wins in 5. Exceptional stuff at the moment. But Hoffenheim, the ball is in their court against 10-man Werder Bremen, who desperately need points themselves. But St. Pauli's gap is getting bigger and bigger. Werder Bremen have 2 consecutive wins advantage over St. Pauli, who have a tricky away match today, I think, against Leipzig. Not fancied in any way, shape or form. This is a derby-style match. I'm not going to be picking a winner in this one, but as I've just alluded to, Bayer Leverkusen have been in exceptional form of late. Hope you're all okay still on YouTube. This is the Swedish 1 League. Mjällby 3-0 up already against Degerfors. Let's get rid of these and keep them for when the big boys have finished. Cagliari and Udinese, arguably the need is greater for Cagliari. I think we can always check here. I'm not sure if it's a dead rubber. If it is a dead rubber, ignore completely. Okay. Done everything for you at the website, so you can check the research there. But let's have a look. Cagliari and Udinese. We want to be avoiding dead rubbers today. Cagliari or Cremonese on 28. It's a 10-point gap. Now the next thing, we've got a suspended market. Next thing for us to check out, how many matches left. So for Cagliari, 10-point gap. I think they're safe, so I'm going to knock that one on the head. I think this is a dead rubber. The market is as well alluding to the fact that you should be better leaving this one alone. Scotland, Hearts, what chance have they got against Motherwell today? Superb win against Rangers last match. Has them salivating over breaking the duopoly in the Premiership in Scotland. Fantastic stuff from Hearts of Midlothian. Motherwell have a reputation for being defensively sound, so they're going to give Hearts a run for their money, but in their form, not fancied against Rangers. They could do the job today. La Liga, much of a muchness today. You can see the market, no odds on favourites at all. Atletico Madrid, Celta Vigo. I could see Celta getting a goal here today. Real Sociedad and Betis, 2.7 the favourite. I think it's a dead rubber of sorts, that one. Just got to be careful at this stage of the season. Allsvenskan, a little too early for us to get too enthused about that. Turkish Super League, this is moving day today, i.e. this is the second to last match of the season. This is where these sides can set themselves up nicely for the last day of the season and be absolute standouts, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, of course. Fenerbahce must win because Galatasaray lost their last match. Galatasaray slip up again. Fenerbahce can have a tilt at the title for the last match of the season. If Galatasaray win today, they win the title. So exciting stuff there. Trabzonspor, well, it's a 7-point gap. So Trabzonspor really are guaranteed third or above, are they not? You can see with Besiktas with that arrow. So the reason we haven't got any arrows for the top three is Trabzonspor with a win will break to 69. If Fenerbahce lose today, they can have a tilt at that second place next week. But Besiktas job done. So everything below Besiktas or in close alignment cannot catch Besiktas. 7-point gap with 2 matches remaining. So there's going to be a lot of dead rubbers here this evening. I think it's at the bottom you're going to get the most action. 24 plus 3 is 27. 27 plus 3 is 30. An outside chance for Fatih Karagümrük to get through, and they're unbeaten in 2 matches. Bottom 2 unbeaten in 2. So they're given a good account. Kayserispor with a win, 30 points, can get themselves out of the relegation zone. Gençlerbirliği Biliki with a win, 31, get themselves out of the relegation zone, with Antalyaspor and Ayopspor in a bit of bother, the Turkish Yorkshiremen. Antalyaspor, Ayopspor get themselves a win, and they will be breaking the 30-point barrier. A lot of these sides are drawing, as you can see, 12th and lower, dropping 2 points. But as long as they're staying static, that's what these guys at the top will be hoping. As long as if we drop points, they drop points, we're okay with that scenario. But it's when you start getting the W's here and the D's here that the gap starts to get less. So there's plenty to play for this lot to align themselves properly for an assault on survival in the last day of the season. So it's more about the relegation zone in Turkey this evening than it is the top, apart from the squabble between Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. A bit quiet at the moment. Not heard any goals in Germany. Leipzig and St. Pauli could do with a result, St. Pauli, but it's looking unlikely. They're your archetypal newly promoted and really struggling for air. Leipzig, probably Champions League. I would suggest to keep them honest. We can just check out the standings at the moment. Hopefully this will come up nice and quick. We'll just get rid of that. So there's plenty of articles on France this evening and Turkey at footballtradingprofits.com, so do have a read of them. You can see Dortmund have down tools, but it was important research we did yesterday. The last home match of the season. Some major elements of the club retiring as well. That was the catalyst, I hope, for you to get involved at 0-1 Eintracht Frankfurt yesterday. It's a dead rubber, but it's the context. Leipzig were the now last time out. Are they going to be really pressured? Well, yes. Stuttgart are on 59 with that draw. So a win takes them to 61. So if Leipzig don't get anything out of this, the gap has lessened to 2 points. And Stuttgart and Bayer Leverkusen, you can see this is a squabble for the Champions League spot, with the goal difference as well, a key metric for these two. So the onus would be on Stuttgart to get an impressive win. But as I said, 4 wins in 5 for Leverkusen. They've just hit the road running. First, third and fourth, the absolute standouts, aren't they? And second, deliberate defeats, having already accomplished the goal of Champions League football. Mighty Hoff with a win could have a really good solid chance at Champions League football as well. Bayer Leverkusen on that 59 are vulnerable, as you can quite clearly see there. Apart from that, the gap to Freiburg is emphatic, but Eintracht Frankfurt still have a little bit of business themselves against Freiburg, but they did lose yesterday to Dortmund. So Freiburg survive that particular encounter. Augsburg at 0-0. Add 2 to that, they'll be on 43 and can have an assault on Freiburg as well. So it's getting nice and tasty for that lot. And at the bottom, St. Pauli are looking adrift, but a win today for St. Pauli takes them to 29 with an outside chance that if Köln keep dropping points, St. Pauli can have an assault on that one. With Werder Bremen unlikely to get anything today, they will be frozen on 33, which gives St. Pauli something to aim for. 29 with a win today. So that's how it looks in Germany at the moment. So plenty for these two to squabble about. That draw is likely to be very vulnerable late on, isn't it? Champions League football is literally there for the winner. So quiet at the moment. A bit too much. Bratwurst for lunch, I think. So the bankers today, I'll put them here. Sort of Valagem because they're odds on at home. Dender have been in the lower tier in recent seasons. Club Brugge absolutely chock full of goals at the moment. Don't tend to disappoint. A couple of odds on favourites at home in China, and as you can see, if you followed Shanghai Shenzhou as 1.45, 0-2 down to Chongqing, Tonglianglong. Good job from Shanghai to make that 2-2. Pools and odds on today with the two Prague sides meeting each other. I'm not sure this is going to be important for the title push. The Prague sides, one of them's going to drop points, or two of them's going to drop points, but the gap is emphatic. It's the only thing that Paulsen have motivating them is to keep Jablonek at arm's length. I thought there might be an angle there with the two Pragues meeting each other, but no, 10-point gap to them. Absolutely dominating that league. HJK again, an example of insurance. KUPS disappointing yesterday, and this new season, this lot licking their lips with the two big boys dropping points yesterday into Turku. Want to follow in the summer, top of the league now. Not your usual top of the league. It's normally HJK, KUPS, normally dominating this match or this league season after season. So there's already a competitive edge to this top five, segregated by 3 points. TPS arguably advantaged. They get a win with a game in hand. They could go top. French Ligue 2 we know about already. Waiting for that at 7 o'clock. And the Bundesliga. Those are my starred matches today. Hoffenheim tend to deliver at these odds, but Sod's Law, of course, are going to lose 0-1. Hit the backside of the Werder Bremen, or backside of a Hoffenheim centre-back in the 98th minute, of course, to lose 0-1. Leipzig, important, I think, for Leipzig. Certainly for St. Pauli, but their form has been awful. 3 defeats in 4 for St. Pauli. Leipzig just to keep Stuttgart and Hoffenheim attack at bay. Leipzig are advantaged in this Champions League push with a nice 4-point gap to Bayer Leverkusen. No Bundesliga 2. We had that earlier on. Holstein Kiel in a spot of bother, losing. Paderborn only a 2-2. And Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's. St. Pat's 1-1, I think, at 1 point in that match. Cork City back to winning ways yesterday as well. Those were the bankers yesterday. So Cork City finding their goals again. Very quiet at the moment, isn't it? So let's have a just sort ourselves out for the 3 o'clocks. Get rid of a few of these. I'll keep an eye on Paulsen today. Now, if you wanted to, with Stevenage and Stockport, if you want to lay over 0.5 goals at the start of the match, I'll show you how to do that at 3 o'clock. You can see it's already come in 2 out of 2 times for the 0-0s in the Championship. Sunderland, one of a number of teams with European ambitions. Manchester United's season is over. Michael Carrick, will he possibly shuffle the pack today? Look at some squad players. Perhaps give some youngsters a run out, because this is like Dortmund now. It could be the start of Manchester United dropping points. Brighton have to win. Another side like Sunderland with European ambitions. Bournemouth, exceptional. Another side with European ambitions in a day of European football in the Premier League with the relegation dogfight to come. VPS game in hand, as we've already seen. Guniston, are they going to be gettable, winning their last match? Moving on down, it's going to be a little quiet now, isn't it? So the tumbleweeds will be going across the screen as the Championship, League One and League Two depart. The only real match of interest in the SPL would have been that Hearts Motherwell. Doesn't look like it's on at 3 o'clock. Allsvenskan a little bit too early in the season, but we can keep an eye on it. Degerfors, depending on the odds, 2.1 pre-match. That could be a good one to lay. Don't forget, you remember Tromsø lost 5-0 totally out of the blue. 2.1 the favourite. It's not a strong favourite at all. Yes, 3 wins in 4. Impressive enough, but 2 goals conceded in the last match against Malmo. But Malmo are slightly better than Degerfors. Degerfors not scoring that second goal too often, but beating a decent yardstick in AIK, keeping the Elf quiet as well. They just seem to be more of a defensive side, Degerfors, don't they? Trying to keep sides to a single goal and then trying to nick a goal or 2. But to Mjällby, straight out of the blocks with 3-0-2, 3 goals in their last 3 matches. It'll be a very speculative lay to nothing, based more than anything on complacency and indeed the low entry point. All it takes is a single goal for Degerfors and we are up and running. Do bear in mind the odds, highly unlikely to occur, but as traders, I see a nice bit of value here. They're away from home. 2.1 is not the strongest favourite on the planet. What I should have done, just check the goals, see whether there's an own goal or a penalty to massage the scoreline a little bit. And then we could have had an assault. But let's have a look. What is a quiet? Here we go. The goals are beginning. Augsburg have still have some ambition, don't they? 1-0 up against Mönchengladbach. The mighty Hoff, 24 minutes in. If you think about the Hoff, they normally get a goal before half-time, don't they? So you might want to start looking at 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted in the half-time score market. Cueta, penalty against Castillon. That could be significant in La Liga too. It could open the door up for a late assault on that draw. This is unexpected for Castillon. You can see them in 4th place. This is the highest they can go, 67 points today, but they are within 3 points of 70, which could be vital, of course, for that tilt at the automatic promotion. Cueta, mid-table mediocrity, nothing really to motivate them with Huesca on 36 points. If this penalty is scored, you might want to be looking at laying that late draw with Castillon needing really to get to 70 points. We can have a look. Let's just try AI just to see if it'll be a bit quicker. How many matches remain Spanish La Liga 2? No, it's not worth it, is it? Rather than go to soccer stats, I just thought he could answer this one quickly, but obviously not. So bit of a waste of time. Just want to do a bit of maths there. The only other way to do that, soccer stats. And they have scored Cueta, so we could have a look at this one. So there's a Mjällby. Good team talk for Degerfors. Get the half-time Lucas Aid out and they deep heat and off we go. That could be a good tilt. So Quetta, it's going to have to be a 1.09, 1.06. Right, I don't know why I can't find Quetta. Castillon then, let's try that. So it's still a little way to go, but I think Castillon will be feeling a little aggrieved here, and indeed the market agreeing. 19s for Quetta. So there's a clear indicator here that the market agrees with me that the team most likely to score the next goal will be Castillon. They'll be feeling that they've had 3 points taken away from them. 3 vitally important points. So 1.34 is a little too early for me at the moment. And the mighty Hoff, all hail to the Hoff. If you went 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted in the halftime score market, well done. I didn't quite get to that because I was checking this out, but I hope you followed through and went there. Take the hint, please. Red card, 1.44 pre-match. Even without the red card, they're expected to score before half-time. So the mighty Hoff are up and running. Half-time score. Hopefully this was liquid enough for you. If it's not liquid, first half goals, of course. This is the equivalent of any unquoted. This is the equivalent of 2-0, equivalent of 1-0. But the benefit this has is that both teams playing for you. You can see now that 2-0 has been lit up. If you wait 20 minutes, you're going to get really good odds. 8s or 9s about the 2-0. Don't forget there's a red card involved, so that is really good value. And any unquoted, they're looking at the Hoff just going goal crazy now. So I do hope you followed through. Don't wait for me to take action. I've got to facilitate this. 27s, and I did tell you this, 20 plus minutes, 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted half-time score market. Fill your boots. You're already 1 up. Any unquoted, you could have got double figures about, and that's got a realistic chance of coming in. So exciting stuff. For those of you who went half-time market, Augsburg 2-0 up already. I couldn't trust Mönchengladbach as far as I could throw them, though. That's the problem with that. But you can see Augsburg with Freiburg dangling that 44 points in front of them as an entry point to European football. It's no wonder Augsburg are going for it. Beating Bayer Leverkusen of all sides as well in a run of 2 wins in 3 matches. This is superb stuff for them. Mönchengladbach have got nothing left. Mid-table mediocrity for them. Still a little bit of a squabble about relegation, but realistically, no. 8 points, the gap between them and St. Pauli, with St. Pauli's away match against Leipzig, who are threatened by the Champions League. So I think the goal has been disallowed for Augsburg, but you can see their hunger today. Hunger for the Hoff to maintain that Champions League berth against all comers. Squabble, Stuttgart and Leverkusen will be important, I think, if that draw retains later on. Take it on. And Leipzig and St. Pauli, it's a must win for both teams. Been very, very quiet. It's a very defensive display from St. Pauli thus far. No shots on, 1 shot on 3 off and no corners for Leipzig. So really impressive from St. Pauli, but they're likely to surrender second half. That tends to be the problem. Keep an eye out on Quetta and Castillon, because Castillon not very happy conceding a late penalty, which could change their season. They would love to get automatic promotion rather than the pain of the playoffs. Odds are getting shorter and shorter. If you want to get involved earlier, let's say £10 risk, this is what I would do. As near to 1.25 as possible, I would start my excursion. I would press the confirm button there now, move this to 1.19 and look to win a tenner. Again, move this down to 1.14 Normally this would be a match where I would do 1.09, 1.06, given the league and the teams. I would need to keep my losses to a bare minimum. 1.09 would be next, and the lower down you go, you can increase your stake because your liability will be the same. So the later the goal, the bigger the return. And you know we've got a few of these in, haven't we? You get about a 10 to 1 return, which is wonderful stuff. 1.06 is the last one, and you can go to town with this one. 32 quid keeps you under the £2 liability. Total liability of a tenner. Total profit 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, about 80 quid. If they all get matched and one of these two sides scores a goal. This is drip feeding into the market, drip laying. That way, at least, if you want to get involved a bit earlier in the match, you can maintain control of your liability, and at least you'll get a return if we get that goal early. If we get the goal later, you get an even bigger return. You already know your maximum liability at all times will be a tenner, and your maximum outlay will be a very decent 10 to 1 plus. So watch out for that one. I think we can get rid of the mighty Hoff here. If they get a 2-0 or any unquoted and you did get involved, well done. Brighton have already scored against Wolves. That will settle the nerves for the European tilt for Brighton. They will be absolutely delighted. One of the banker bets of the day, that one, by a country mile. I'm not hearing the goals coming in, so I hope that's not a problem. 3 matches after today. Thank you very much, Stuart. I hope you can still see and hear me okay. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay. Well, you know the deal by now, but thankfully it's coming to the end of the season. So hopefully get this sorted out for August to April next season. Gaias starting well against Vesteros, but too early in the Allsvenskan season to get hugely interested. But definitely get interested in that one. The entry point is so low. Stuttgart and Leverkusen, the winner could seal Champions League football. Or knock. Stuttgart will knock Leverkusen out of the Champions League football places. St. Paul, Sunderland, Man U. Well, it's only 2 minutes in, but Sunderland must win. Can they take advantage of what will be a switched off Manchester United? Not physically, but psychologically. They'll have switched off, like Dortmund. It's ever so subtle. Are we really going to be busting a gut with 5 minutes to go, a goal down? No, we're not. We've got F all to play for. I'll get rid of Brighton now. Stockport and Stevenage. Let's just break and I'll show you the tactics for the playoffs. So far, working like an absolute treat. So you go here. It is the same as backing 0-0. Now, if we get to 0-0 at half time, you've got a free punt on the draw to lay the draw second half. So be prepared to say goodbye to your liability, okay? Because if we get a first half goal, this is all done. Laying over 0.5 goals is the same as backing 0-0. Now, if we get to 0-0 at half time, 0-0 will be covered. And what will happen to the draw odds? The draw odds will drop markedly. Probably going to get, I would say, something like 2.5. You could even lay the draw just then. But what I'm hoping for would be this to be 0-0 for longer and longer, longer and longer. The longer it's 0-0, the lower the odds. The lower the odds, the bigger the return when you decide to lay the draw. So let's pretend the draw odds have got to 1.4 and you're looking to sacrifice your £40 liability. And you can see, look. So we're looking to get that figure of 40 on the draw. And look how much money we could possibly make if this match does not end in a score draw. We're not even hit the 40 yet, and we're going to get to 100 quid. How about that? So this is, you could have done this yesterday. And you could have done it the day before with the championship playoffs. Laying over 0.5 goals. If we get to 0-0 at half time, you can then use that £40 to lay the draw. The bigger your kahunas, the later you lay. The later you lay to a £40 liability, the bigger your return. Now, can you imagine getting to 109 and there being a late goal? Well, we can imagine that now. 1.09. Let's see. So we're looking at 500 or thereabouts. £490. That's a free punt if you've laid over 0.5 goals at the start of the match and it remains 0-0 till late on. So it's a very exciting strategy if you get to 0-0 at half time. The only thing for you to decide then is when to pull the trigger second half. Got a goal coming in. That's a rarity in what is a quiet day so far. Well, full-time Castillon and Cueta. Not expecting much there. As I say, I would have done a 1.09, 1.06. So it would have been a £4 maximum liability, but you can see risk reward here, £9.49, £83.30. If you wanted a £5, you just do that as a fiver and a £1 maximum liability. So poor old Castillon, is that going to cost them their automatic promotion spot? You'd think it might do. Looking at the Premier League, really fancy a bit of Bournemouth, don't we? Consistent. And VPS taking advantage of their game in hand have already got that goal against Guniston. Sunderland and Bournemouth for me. And Brighton already 2-0 up. Oh, they'll be absolutely over the moon with that. Just to settle the nerves. And we can have a look at this European push. It's very competitive indeed. Why? It's because that last team is keeping the points artificially low on 53. So 51 can get there. 49 plus 3, 52 can get there within 2 matches. 49 plus 3, 52 can get there within 2 matches. 48 plus 3, 51 plus 3 is 54, can get there in 2 matches. So all the way down to Sunderland, as I've argued. Sunderland still have an outside chance at Europe. But these sides running for Europe are picking up a lot of L's, particularly Chelsea. So maybe the pressure is telling. But I would say from Sunderland upwards, realistic chances. And we've got 5 of these sides playing today. Dead rubber, Manchester United. Everything else, very competitive. Must-win territory. 3 points could bring in a huge economic reward at the end of the season. No relegation dogfight just yet today. It's all about the European fight. These draws are going to be layable, of course, second half, if they marry with the in-play stats. Goals are starting to come in the Bundesliga, and it's again a European tilted coupon today. Pretty much every side with European ambitions and need for the wins. St. Pauli parking the bus. Let's have a look at their recent matches, St. Pauli. How long have they lasted before they've conceded? Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. Time to upgrade to Starlink. Indeed, John. Particularly if I had a few more of your both teams to score no's in this season, I would have, the amount of money I'd have saved, I could have bought a Starlink with that. This is just comes with the territory, I'm afraid. It's the time zone difference. It may be early afternoon for you, but it's late evening for me, and there's a sudden dip in the internet, and then I suddenly disappear. I can get back in straight away, but OBS knocks the stream off and then it doesn't come back again. So the longer I can last, the better. We've done okay so far, 40 minutes in. Let's have a look. St. Pauli. Just want to have a look at their first goal conceded timings for them recently. And you probably get an idea here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 7 matches seen at least a goal before half time, which will be slightly concerning for them. 40th minute and 6th minute. 3rd minutes are very early concessions in the last 2. They've avoided that so far. They are away from home today, so let's focus on that. So they do concede first half goals, which is a slight concern. In each of the last 3 aways, conceded first half goals. So the later you get, particularly with a side like Leipzig, you might find some value. The later we get, of course, but they've started to wake up as well. You can see the momentum graphs, and I've really enjoyed these momentum graphs this season. I think they've been the subtle difference in some matches. You can see it with Southampton earlier on, soaking up a huge amount of pressure against Middlesbrough. And then suddenly Southampton's momentum starts rising at the right time at the end of the match, where they could nick a 1-0. We can get rid of that. We've got a goal back for Degerfors. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Enjoy the show. It's a 1.02 lay, and we've got the first goal. So now the complexion of the match has changed completely. There is only a 2-goal deficit, and there's still the vast majority of the second half to go for the home side. You can see the risk-reward return is superb. If that decimal point to be moving to the right, that would be 42 quid for a single goal. But of course, laying at 1.02 realistically, you wipe off your liability. Returns, if we can get that 2-3, 65th minute, you're going to be getting double figures about this. That 112 is going to start working for us as well. So exciting stuff from the mighty Degerfors. They are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. I am a fan of Degerfors now for the next 34 minutes. Probably going to wait to second half Stuttgart and Leverkusen. It's reminding me a little of Liverpool-Chelsea, this, isn't it? Is it going to peter out second half with the nerves are jangling for these two with European football? Within a hair's breadth for Stuttgart, they can take points off their nearest rival today. You can see St. Pauli coming into this, aren't they? And they're playing a very defensive match. This has got 0-1 written all over it if they can keep 0-0 80th minute. Sunderland need European points. Manchester United, nothing to play for. Let's just have a look. Paulson have scored first and Dundee FC against Livingston. Let's have a quick look at the Manchester United team news. Have I preempted any changes from Sir Michael of Carrick? Probably not. But with the pressure from international managers to say, come on, there's a World Cup coming, your season's over, can you rest a couple of our lads? Xerxes, you can see up front now. Cunha, Diallo, Mason Mount. It's just a subtly changed side, isn't it? Mazraoui. So you can see he is flexing the muscles. Bruno is still playing. Player of the year. Absolutely superb. On the bench, let's have a look. Not the strongest bench on the planet, is it? Well, Brian Mbeumo. The two Fletcher brothers. Dorgu, Dallo. So not a very attacking bench. But this is a typical job done this season subtle change. And that's going to knock the momentum off from Manchester United as well, the team dynamics as well. So that's what we always have to be wary of. The goals are starting to come. And there's that goal from Leipzig. Bang on the button just before half time. Did we play? I can't remember if we did or not. I don't think I did a play for Leipzig. Certainly one to target late on, but this is, I'm afraid, the death knell now for St. Pauli in their current mood. Nothing really telling me to look for a goal before half-time, is there? 0.94 xG. Normally, I'd be waiting for the momentum to be hitting 70 or 80 and have a more aligned or a more marked move upwards, like this one here. More marked angle up. But they got the goal before half-time, likely to be the end of that. If that's 2-0 for Augsburg, then they will have done their job as well. So we can take that off the watch list. Stevenage 0-0 after 16 minutes. How is our 0-0 looking? We're not interested. We're waiting to half time. We're trying to take advantage of the nerves. The nerves are a jangling for these teams. The draw odds. Oh, sorry. Laying over 0.5 goals, of course. Starting to see a profit emerge, as you can see here. This is a tactic you can use at half time as well. If you're a bit squeamish, you think the match might end 0-0 at half time, you could lay over 0.5 goals at half time, sit on it, and then lay the draw while delaying if there's a concerted 0-0 in the second half. This is my preferred tactic. Why? Because if you get the goal before half time, the liability is kept to a tolerable loss, and the reward can be huge. You've already seen those 2 0-0s already in the Championship. You could have laid at any odds all the way down to 1.02. And if they get a late goal, you will absolutely clean up at 1.02 with a £40 liability. Unbelievable, Jeff. Put it this way, £2 liability will make you 100 quid, 20 will make you a grand, 40 will make you 2k. So you can really speculate with this if we can get that long run of 0-0. The later you lay, the bigger your return. It's really exciting. Little technique. Victoria Poulsen already got that goal. Take advantage of the Pragues playing each other. Well, they don't really need to. The gap between them and Poulsen is too vast. VPS taking advantage of the big guns dropping points and their game in hand, likely to take them top of the Finnish Liga, which has really shuffled the pack this year. There are some new names at the top. The old firm are starting to wobble. Dinamo Zagreb Hajduk split the derby in Croatia. Get rid of a few of these. Suspended market. Steras Tripolis. Probably a half time, isn't it? The suspended market. Okay. Aberdeen against Dundee United. Well, the Hoff 1-0. So if you would have made a return in the half-time score market. I always recommend 1-0, 2-0, any unquoted. You will be absolutely surprised. And you will be shocked if you only went 1-0 and you get a late 2-0 and you could have got 15 to 1 about that 2-0. Stuttgart are looking quite good, aren't they? But Leverkusen can give as good as they get, can't they? 4 goals against Leipzig, 2 goals against FC Köln. 3-3 for Stuttgart against the mighty Hoff. Latest suggests they can score 2+ goals against the best sides this season. 2 goals scored against Bayern Munich as well. So they've got them in the locker, but a couple of 1-1 draws at home is a little disappointing. Bayer Leverkusen away from home, a 0-1 win and a 1-2 away win against FC Köln. But this is lined up well. You'd be favouring Stuttgart. It's one of those matches you must take points off your nearest rival. Must take points off your nearest rival. Yes, they're identical points, identical goal difference. No, it's not. It's 3 So the onus is on Stuttgart to pump up the goal difference, because that could be vitally important. The winner could take it all, as you can see here. 61 points in a tilt at a safer Champions League position. Leipzig's, if Leipzig, well, it looks like Leipzig have got the win today. So it's going to be a squabble between these two, with the Hoff and Freiburg, particularly the Hoff, having a good tilt at it as well on 58 points and leading. These matches are very targetable late on, with so much at stake and the time running out. That's how I'd prefer to be playing. 0-2 for Hibs against Falkirk. Don't have an opinion in that one. I will get rid of the SPL today. I don't have a strong opinion. And we do have liquidity issues as well, which is a slight concern there. You can see once the Championship League 1 and League 2 go, it can get a little lonely here, can't it? Very, very quiet. That's why I prefer the blood and thunder of the 3 other leagues. Gives us more to choose from as well. We have to be a bit more discerning with a lower or a lesser coupon. I would recommend you using Football 24 next season, just to keep tabs on matches. And indeed, there we go, look at that, 2-1. I wish they wouldn't keep this habit up of getting a last gasp goal at the end of the first half when I've decided it'd be a decent one to lay the draw second half. They never read the script or attend my live streams, because if they did, they'd have kept that to 1-1 at half time. But this is the importance of taking points off your nearest rival. This could land Stuttgart really well, but Leverkusen cannot be discounted in their current form. So this is thoroughly deserved, yes, and arguably, had there been a bit more in the wider weight club, we could have had a go in the half-time market at a minimal risk to ourselves. More sharper move upwards. That's the momentum taking off right at the end of the match. So missed a trick there, which was a pity. Sunderland looked like they could be the side to score first against a slightly changed Manchester United side today, who don't need to win. It's a good opportunity at decent odds if you fancied the Black Cats. Dinamo Zagreb opening the scoring against Hajduk Split. Sultavalagem against Dender. Look for the reaction. Probably 21 minutes. Any value here in the Sultavalagem match? Probably going to be in the half-time market. So let's have a look. Still, half-time score would be the best route, but look at it, it's totally lacking any market forces. £7 matched, so that, no thank you. This is the equivalent of the score market. This is the equivalent of 1-0, backing over 1.5, over 0.5 goals. It'll be the equivalent of 2-0. And looks like the goal has come. I was looking, you see, 20 minutes. It's a key metric because you've got the vast majority of the half left. You've got a red card involved. So you could have backed at about 1.8 for over 0.5. That's pretty decent, if that's probably going to be better than that. And then this for the any unquoted. So I would start at the end, because if you get a goal coming in, these odds are going to be impacted. These odds are going to be impacted as well. But I don't know what's going on. Suspenders. Don't know the story there. It's a penalty for Dender. So arguably, if you're looking at that, you would be looking at taking on this Dender lead. But thankfully saved me a bit of dough. But did it really? Going into the half-time market, first half goals is neutral. First half goals is neutral. So this is the advantage of going neutral, isn't it? Dender score, you've still won. And you've opened the door up to 1.5 with 20 minutes to go for a strong home side take advantage and get the equaliser. Now that red card has disappeared all of a sudden, hasn't it? So, I thought I was interested in that because of a red. That looks to have disappeared. Penalty for Dender, if converted, could be an angle in. But it looks like Sod's Law, of course, particularly if it's a trade where I need a profit, it'll be Rose Z and off on intergalactic orbit. Penalty awarded. Okay, not converted just yet. So we'll keep an eye on that one. You could get an angle in there if you fancy taking on taking on a Dender lead. It's not the strongest play on the planet, given the league and the teams, but I hear a suspend. I think we could see a conversion from Dender. Indeed, we have. We now know that that's a goal from a penalty, and you'll see now 1.5. What odds could you have backed it at? 4.5 or higher. So that single goal, neutrally as well, has impacted on that. Have to wait for these markets to reform. Half-time market, if you wanted to play, well, probably not. It's totally lacking any liquidity, isn't it? Just with 20 minutes to go, that could give you some value, but you can just see. Oh, it's a labouring, isn't it? 14 quid matched. So you're going to have problems getting out if you get in. And look at the gap between back and lay odds. It's just absolutely appalling. They're taking the mick there. If you wanted a 90-minute play, this will be filed under speculative, just given the teams. But we've just stumbled upon a story here, taking the lead against the run of play, against an odds-on side who, at home, were looking pretty decent. +1 I would prefer. But are we going to get any value at +1? It's got to be significantly greater than 1.07. Well, it's on the cusp of being tolerable for this league. You'll get a reasonable return under of about £30, I would suggest. With a +1, that covers the draw. Yeah, around £30, which is reasonable enough, covering the draw. Match odds, of course, you'd split your stake in two. And you'd be looking at backing Zolta Varagem, half stake. Laying Dender, half stake as liability. You get an extra 14 quid there on top, which takes which leaves you with a £6 liability on the draw, which I quite like if you fancy the home side and you're confident enough of a draw. By keeping that small liability on the draw, it's hopefully enticing you to stay in for the bigger bucks on Zolta. I've decided +1 on this particular occasion, just given the league and the fact it was not really on my radar, and it's not a banker bet at all. 1 shot on 4 off and 2 corners. It's really not. They're not knocking it out the park, are they? 5 attacks to 7, 0.07 xg. It's not greatly appealing. Just to see if we can get that equaliser. 4 consecutive wins is momentum coming into this match. First goal was a penalty for the underdog, and Stephen Francis will have told you something we look for. Penalties, own goals as opening goals for underdogs can give us a little bit more confidence. The Black Cats are giving a good fist of it, and those of you who want to watch the football for free, it's a website called camel1.tv. It's an extremely good website. I'm not going to show you the match, of course, because that will breach YouTube copyright. Any of these matches you choose, just wait for the website to load and hover over the match. It can be extremely useful, particularly, for example, seeing what kind of a mood Chelsea were in earlier on against Liverpool, and you could see really fixated on that European spot and playing very solid football. Fulham and Bournemouth has been a bit of a snooze fest at the moment. These momentum graphs. This is your typical Wembley momentum graph, isn't it? Or playoff momentum graph. It's in the centre for both teams, i.e. they are scared stiff. No shots on target. One shot off 3 corners. If we can get it 0-0 at half time, Stockport and Stevenage will be up and running for a bit of fun. Nice late second half. So we're already up to, should be a little bit more, well, £4. So we're getting to a 1-to-1 return. So yet again, if you've got a bigger bank, that's 52. That's a £41 green, which you could actually take. So the bigger the bank, the earlier you can take a green in markets you're using for hedging. So it's all about risk reward, isn't it, with the size of your liability. But we're using this liability to free up this 40 quid for the second half. You could even do it now, because you're getting far better odds than you'd have got pre-match. 23 quid return compared to pre-match 3.25. So just that little bit of delaying, 33 minutes, has got it down to 2.5. I would suspect with another 15 minutes could shave off another 0.5 off this one. So we'll be heading towards evens, or just above evens at half time. And that's a double your money. Not too shabby if you want to lay the draw second half. You've got to ensure that the second half does not end in a score draw. If it doesn't end in a score draw, it's a great little system. So that's working its way out nicely. No shots on target. Nervous, nervous, nervous. That's all these playoffs are. Hope you're all okay. John's on 5G. Yeah. I'm on 5G, but in a condo, and it's just a dip. It'll occur, I would say about 4 o'clock, which is 10 p.m. here. You'll get the dip, and that could knock me out. So do prepare for me to disappear. It's performing so far. Club Royal doing a good job so far. So let's have a look through again. Cagliari and Calcio and Udinese. I'm not going to be trading that one, to be honest. Augsburg, expected scoreline. Hoffenheim, expected scoreline. Leipzig, expected scoreline. Stuttgart, question mark. Might see more fun and games from Leverkusen second half. Could arguably go any other home score, any other away score for the second half. If you fancy one of those Keystone Cops by Leverkusen matches. Zultavarajum and Denda, well, did show a red card. You've got to be very careful with this, because that red card can get you straight involved if you haven't confirmed whether it's a red or not. It doesn't look the case here for Denda, does it? So just be a little careful to double check on occasion. No red card at all, as you can see there. Goncalves scoring a penalty. That's an absolute rarity for the football trader. A footballer scoring a penalty. Unbelievable, Jeff. Something to tell the grandkids, that one. I saw a footballer scoring a penalty once. Unbelievable, Jeff. It's a quietish day. Live streams probably be ending soon, but I will be continuing the service. And a tilt. Well, while it's quiet, let's have a look at tennis. I'm sure one or two of you are interested in tennis. While we're waiting for goals to come in, let's take a look through. Where are we now? Rome. We're on the road to the French open. So let's just have a look through. Any matches pre-match I would have looked at for any of these players. Well, Algo Lyciem, I would have looked at this one against a South American, but I would have probably taken on that Navone lead second set and been done, unless at some stage Algo Lyciem had a break even in the second set. So let's look at that one with interest. The thing about tennis, for me, if you're taking on a first set lead, I think you have to get out at the hint of the break in the second set. In a tight one like this, at any stage did Algo Lyciem break serve? No. Yes, first match, second set, bang. That's your odds move. Consolidate, that's your out. Save, 3 break points. That's confirmation of the break of serve, and that's your out, 3-1. So despite him losing the match 2 sets to love, that's your out there, 3-1. He has fought off 1, 2, 3, 4 break points, broken his first service match. The market's expecting 5th in the world to go off, nail that second set. So it's something I've learned. You trade out not at the 1-1 like the football, but at the hint of the 1-1. So that's something which distinguishes tennis from football. Football, we're looking for that goal to move the odds. Tennis doesn't have to win the second set, but we can still have a profitable trade. Are there any other matches? Let's have a look, going from the ladies upwards. While we're waiting for the goals to come. Cercle Brugge against La Louvière. No great importance with that one. So very quiet at the moment. Portuguese second tier. Reason I got the second tier up, of course, is there'll be a battle for the promotion places. But tennis, let's have a look at any players. I would be laying anything 1.06 or lower, just on the principle of the thing. I would be looking as well at local players. Don't see any today. Yelena Ostapenko, if she's odds on, I would have looked at that one with interest. Well, we've got an Italian here, Paolini. This is exactly what I'm on about. Italian in Italy, not favoured. Wins first set. Normal service resumed second set. That's perfect. It's just the local shot in the arm that these players will get. With that in mind, you've got Pellegrino later on. You've got the Cinnamon later on. You've got Caboli, Bellucci. You've got lots of Italian men playing. And look at Bellucci. Lost the first set. Well, he was not entitled to win the second set, but he did. So normally for me, I'd prefer it the other way around. Bellucci win the first set, lose the second set as normal service is resumed. Elsewhere, well, Caboli and Atmani, 1.36. So we've got an Italian odds on. Big tick. It's like a 1.5 home favourite in the football, isn't it? The Cinnamon, you've got to be laying at those odds. He might pull a leg muscle and you'll get yourselves a 50-1 return if you can get that 1.02. Pellegrino, not fancied, but he might put it up against Feast. What you could do here, because he's such a short price favourite, lay him if he wins the first set, Feast, and hope that Pellegrino, in front of home support, shocks. It's all about low liability plays. We've got a suspended market. Hopefully the goals are a-coming or not. Second halves are beginning. In the Bundesliga, there's no real tradable outcome unless we keep an eye out on Bayer Leverkusen and see whether they have it in them today to fight back. Look at Sunderland, aiming for Europe as well. Can they get the job done? And there's a 3-1 for Stuttgart, so that answers the question about what kind of a mood Leverkusen are in. But I did say, if you fancied any unquoted for both teams, Well, that third goal is 1 goal away from any unquoted Stuttgart coming in. Leverkusen, any unquoted, they'll need to score 4 goals or 5 goals. Zulte Waregem, good reaction to going a goal down. It's the kind of reaction you'd like to see, particularly when you've got money involved. Could do with a goal before half time from them. Sunderland looks like matter of time, doesn't it? Let's have a look at Sunderland's record this season, particularly at home. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. Lasting so far 1 hour and 10 minutes. But watch out for 4 p.m. is likely to be when we get that dip in the Wi-Fi for some reason. So where was I headed? I've just lost my train of thought. Sunderland. So let's have a look. Just want to have a look at Sunderland's goal scoring. You can see 47 plus 3 is 50, with 51 the entry point at the moment. It really is prime territory for a side like Sunderland, newly promoted, to be in with a tilt at European football with 3 matches to go, 2 of them at home, 1 of them with Chelsea. Chelsea will have a European angle themselves too, I think. Looking at performances against the top 5, it's pretty poor stuff from Sunderland. Did score 2 goals against the Arse without winning, failing to score against City and Liverpool, failing to score against United in a 2-0 defeat. Do they score goals though? That's the thing I was looking at here. No draw in 7 at home. No real strong recent metrics. So this is all about context, isn't it? It's a Manchester United side. Don't need to win. Much changed. And it's 2-0 for Leipzig. That is Terra for St. Pauli today. And there's Zulte Waregem equaliser before half-time. If you played the half-time market, well done you. Bit of a risk, given Zulte Waregem better as a Scrabble word than a football team. Those of you who went match odds, this is your ideal scenario. You've got a goal before half time. So you're starting to get a little bit of green turning up, which is good. As you can see, the lack of liquidity, only £2 matched. So you're going to have to wait for this to tighten itself up. Those of you who went match odds, you'll be absolutely delighted with the way this has turned out. Before half time means you're going to get the greater impact. You could have got as high as 3.5 for your back of Zulte Waregem. Boom. Down to about pre-match levels. And Dender as well. Huge move from just above evens all the way out to pre-match levels. So a nice play if you went match odds. Congratulations. +1, you could arguably get out. £3.60 minus 14, make it 11 quid. So 11% of £100 target profit for your session. So if you think of it that way, it's not that shabby, particularly as it's been a little quiet trading wise as the season ends and we transition to the other leagues. Fulham and Bournemouth, we've got a red card for Bournemouth now. Is that going to impact Fulham? Do Fulham have anything to play for? I haven't really mentioned their name in the European fight. Let's just see whether there is anything to motivate Fulham today. Fulham are on 48, so indeed there is. They were above Sunderland. 48 plus 3 is 50, with Brentford on 51, with a tough away encounter against Manchester City. It's an ideal opportunity, isn't it? Against 10 men. And really solid in form Bournemouth, though. But this is possibility of laying the draw second half if you fancy Fulham. Certainly, if this was a Fulham red card, I would be fancying the cherries all day long to unpack that lot. Sunderland, are you going to lay the draw second half? You've only got one team playing for you, with Manchester United likely. Knotted handkerchiefs looking forward to their 2-week vacation in Morecambe a little bit later on in the summer. Butlins for the Manchester United contingent. I wonder if they get to meet Shane Ritchie. That would be amazing. So a bit of a holiday for United at the moment makes this one a very tough match to trust. But Sunderland, no draw in 7 at home. 0-0 is a draw. Stevenage and Stockport, perfect, as Pop Larkin said. Can we get to that half-time at 0-0? That has answered your question. Now, we are in a prime position second half. 0-0 is covered. So you could pop on. This is the amount of money we've got to work with, £39.20. So let's just, that's £40 minus commission. Okay, that's how much we're going to work with second half. Now the question is, do you get involved now with a draw near evens? You'll make yourself 29 quid minus £5 insurance. Or are you going to wait for it perhaps to get to 1.7? Let's see what happens when it gets to 1.7 for a £40 liability. That brings it up to 50 quid. Unbelievable, eh? So can you wait for 1.7? Can we wait for that 0-0 to get to 1.7? You can push up your potential profit to near 60 quid. We don't want to give you that. Can you get to below 1.5? Let's try 1.45 with our £40 liability. This rewards the person who delays the longest. If you're willing to take a hit on that 5 quid liability, this is the kind of reward you can get for just a single goal second half, or an avoidance of a score draw second half. Now, if you can get to 1.45, the draw. Wow, you're all the way up to £85 potential green screen. No, potential profit if the match does not end in a score draw. And of course, if you do get the goal, the profit you'll make to green up will still be decent enough, taking that £5 loss liability into account. How about if you've got the kahunas to get to 1.2 to lay your £39.20 liability? Let's have a look now. We're heading towards 3 figures now. This is an effective free punt, don't forget. This is a free bet. The longer it gets to, it stays 0-0. We've already had 2 of these matches which have been 0-0 to full time. We're not even got to 40 quid yet, have we? Laying at 1.2 for a full £40 liability. And we're up to nearly £200. So look at that. £192.77. If we can get to 1.2 at 0-0. First hurdle has been overcome. Second hurdle now is all about entering the market at the right time. You can see this is perfect for a 0-0. It's bang smack in the middle throughout these 2 sides, finding it very difficult to unpack each other. Zolta Valagem leading 2-1. Those of you who went match odds, get the bleep out of Dodge. Excellent performance. Boom. All the way down to 1.23, all the way out to 15s plus. Make sure you cash out now if you've got involved. Certainly now we're getting near 100% gains with this one. We're going to take a bit of a hit because of the lack of liquidity. You can do, well, we don't have to take the hit. I can put in my own lay amount. Just wait for it to tighten up. And just a gentle reminder to you of the problem But these are liquid markets. It's getting out, isn't it? You can put your own lay in at 1.02 and hope that gets matched. You could even put your own lay in at 1.01 because don't forget this is 2-1 plus an extra goal. This is a gentle reminder about the liquidity problems there, but do make sure you cash out Zulta Vadagem. I can get rid of that now. That's a beautiful sight when you've got a favourite you fancy and they've conceded the first goal via a penalty. Beautiful. That's the kind of match you can make money on every day. Oh, doesn't matter what league it's in, does it? It's all about how the match presents itself. Opening goal for the underdog, a penalty, while the home side were dominating. Have a go. Half-time market. Job done. Merry Christmas. Well, 1-4 for Mjällby. We dreamed of a 1.02 fleetingly, but 'twas not to be. Leipzig making it 3-0, Stuttgart making it 3-0. The European places are warming up nicely. Now, this is the time to take on a Stuttgart lead at 3-1 up, given 4-1 for Bayer Leverkusen against Leipzig, 3-3 for Stuttgart against the mighty Hoff as well. It's a later nothing, but this is an emphatic performance against Stuttgart in what was a must-win for them. Particularly, as I mentioned to you, the goal difference, and you can see deliberately aiming for goals today, Stuttgart. I wonder if the live standings updates the goal difference as well. I'm sure it does. That's how we got that Benfica play, wasn't it? That amazing Benfica play in the Champions League. They got that last gasp winner. So they're all doing a job, the top five, which is playing into Leipzig's hand. If Leipzig can continue to equal or better Stuttgart or Hoffenheim's scoring, they will retain their Champions League berth. If Stuttgart continue to match or better the Hoff, they will maintain their Champions League berth. You can see now how devastating this is to Leverkusen. Goal difference now, Stuttgart as well. Positive goal difference over Leverkusen and a 2-point gap right at the right time of the season for Stuttgart to get going. But they have an awful record, only 1 win in 5, which might hint at some vulnerability at some point. Leverkusen are going to have to react to this because now they've been demoted from Champions League to Europa League phase. Just with a single result. Leipzig delighted with all of the other European results as long as they match them. So Leverkusen, I will be looking for a momentum rise for the Brown with enough time left to hint at 2 goals, but it's not coming, is it? At all. That's what that's telling me. Sunderland and Man United, as you know, it's all about whether you trust the Black Cats. No draw in 7, so that draw could be vulnerable. Second half. Stevenage and Stockport laying over 0.5 goals start of the match. And 2 red cards, Fulham and Bournemouth. Bang. That's my interest gone in that match. I do not play matches where both teams have been red carded. It just knocks everything out of kilter completely. So we might be getting to the end of our live streams for this season. Missing that huge gap at 3 p.m. does make it a bit of a struggle to keep going without the ammunition. So hopefully, well, we'll have a look at the coupon next week. But you can see this huge gap at 3 o'clock. Means we're just relying on the Bundesliga. And the Hoff at 1-0. This is just typical of the Hoff that they'll concede a late goal to Werder Bremen. Oh boy, this should be more emphatic. Last week they were 2.15 and they're scoring 3 goals. Now they're 1.44 against 10 men and have just scored that single goal. Augsburg, superb stuff on their European quest and all over. Bar the shouting for St. Pauli. Greek Super League. This stage of the season, I suppose you can look for motivation. And it's quite tight, isn't it? Oh, this is the relegation round, sorry. So it's been split into two. I'm not sure they would be enticing me, I'm afraid. So just clean up a few of these. Anything catching the eye? Not really. Willemsvee against RKC Valvik. 5 consecutive wins for Willemsvee. Keep an eye on this one. Getting to playoff territory, I think, in Holland. And at the base here, let's have a look. Anything catching the eye? VPS have got that lead with that game in hand. Just work my way down. Portuguese Secunda. So yes, let's have a quick look at the Secunda League for two reasons. First reason, how many matches are left this season? Are there any angles? These leagues are all open to us now at this stage of the season. So let's take a look. Augsburg making it 3-0. I think we can say ta-ra to that one. Say goodbye to Leipzig. Well, Stuttgart might remain alive for a bit longer. You can say goodbye to Zulte Waregem. Job done there as well. And say goodbye to Brighton. That looks to be match done. VPS have got the opening goal. I can say goodbye to that. Won't be doing Greece either. But let's have a look at Portuguese La Liga 2. How many matches remain? That's the first question to answer. Probably 2 matches remain if we're on to 34. So this is moving day. So let's have a quick sweep of this league. Portuguese La Liga 2, moving day. So Maritimo, job done. Be better served using this because it's got the live standings. So this is what I call moving day. It's the second to last day of the season to set themselves up well for either a pipe and slippers last day or at least have a really good shout at their goal. So at the bottom, 31 for Oliveirense with 2 matches remaining. 31 plus 6 is 37. Their only goal, Oliveirense, is relegation playoff place that Pacos Ferreiro Rocher have at the moment. It's unlikely, isn't it? Portimonense, with a win today, could get themselves out of the relegation zone. And not out, well, arguably on the same points as Penafiel, who are currently drawing. So it's competitive. 36 plus 3 is 39. So Penafiel definitely in the firing line. If Pacos and Portimonense get a win today, Farenza and Sporting CB, if they don't get any results in this lot, 5 consecutive defeats, could be dragged into a relegation dogfight on the last day of the season. Teams which are safe, well, 36 plus 3 is 39, plus 3 is 42. Lusitania, Figueras, etc. are all safe. So the relegation dogfight is between this lot here. So Sporting, Farenza, Penafiel, Pacos, Portimonense, Oliveirense. So we've got Oliveirense or Portimonense 2 goals down. Oh dear. That hurts. Farenze and Oliveirense. So the only real match not of any interest is the mighty Chavs against the Exos. But looking at the top, we haven't looked at the top yet to see whether there's any motivating factors. The Chavs, well, it's another one of those leagues which is extremely difficult to get out of. The Chavs, 45 plus 5 is 50, plus 3 is 53. It's 8-point gap with 2 matches remaining. Season over, dead rubber. 46 to 53, 7 points with 6 available, dead rubber. Farenza, 48 to 53. Still can't get them. This is the maximum they can get to today. With a win next week, 49, 50, 51. So It's business concluded at the top. This is all about the relegation dogfight with 2 matches remaining. So those draws are going to be vulnerable at some point. We'll be looking at the in-play stats here now, particularly for these draws. Penafiel, Firenze and Sporting. So let's do that now. Penafiel. Well, let's bring up the vast majority of these. So Sporting B, we know, desperately need to win. Penafiel, desperate need to win. Pacos Ferreiro Rocher, the ambassador, will be delighted with this. No shots on 5 off 5 corners. And don't forget, the need is great, I think, for Pacos Ferreiro. This is all about an assault for me, mid-second half or at the end of the second half. Particularly these 0-0s. They're all relegation 0-0s. Pacos Ferreiro Rocher definitely need 3 points, don't they? Take them to 38. So that's of interest to us today. The Chavs and the Exos is a dead rubber. Let's maintain our discipline. Just completely ignore that one. Oliverense 18th, of course, we can look at that one. So we've got some extra matches to look at, particularly for a second half assault in the second tier. Felgueiras and Portimonense. Was that one of any importance indeed for Portimonense? But they're a goal down to Felgueiras. To be looking at a reaction from them, 16 attacks to 6 for Portimonense. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube on this quiet Saturday. Liberation Day in Guernsey, where we got rid of the Germans on the 9th of May 1945. So a few celebrations back home. I'll give the folks a ring after I've finished this live stream. Say hello to them. Got rid of those krauts from the Channel Islands. Not going to be playing this. Let's maintain our discipline. Stay out of red carded matches. Ethiopian Coffee. The mighty Ethiopian Coffee should have some lasting power in this match. And the mighty Hercules as well. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, old Hercules, in Finland. And doing well, VPS. Could do with a second goal with the Gnistan staying within touching distance. And this is almost identical, isn't it? 16, 1, 2, 3, 22. Wow. Mirroring each other, these two. So that normally suggests that the value would be in laying VPS, wouldn't it? If we're looking for value, laying them at odds on. Augsburg we can get rid of. Superb reaction to looking for a European place. Augsburg hitting the form of their life at the right time of the season. Augurs well for next season if they can continue with that formula that they seem to have found. Let's get rid of a few of these. Scottish Championship playoffs. Problem with these is liquidity. That's why I'm really not interested, I'm afraid. It's the getting in and getting out that's the problem. Don't have a strong opinion in Scotland until we get to our old pals Hearts later on against Motherwell. Sevilla and Espanyol. Well, the onus is on Sevilla to do something here today, but 2.3 the favourite means it's not a match I really want to be prioritising too much. Burgos and Almeria. Well, it's all about a win for Almeria. Could take them top. That's certainly getting a look, isn't it? Talk about motivation. Cultural Leonessa, I think, are involved as well. Cultural Leonessa down at the bottom, 33. They can still exit. They are the bottom side, can still exit. So we'll be looking on that one to see whether we'll get a reaction from the bottom side. Sweden, as I say, a bit too young in the season to get involved. Let's wait till these big guns are all done and dusted, and we can just pick off some of those. Bundesliga doesn't look appealing at all today in Austria. So these are our watch lists at the moment. I can get rid of this now, but if you wanted to lay Stuttgart with 20 minutes to go, you're going to get really decent odds. Need to see reaction but we're not seeing anything from Leverkusen at all. Jekyll and Hyde, 4 goals last week against a decent Leipzig, but just can't turn up this week. Sunderland, are you going to be laying the draw second half? The only real argument I can say for you is this. If you bring up these matches like this, you have the streaks and sequences table, which can immediately point you to the strongest angles at the moment for the home side at home and the away side away. But factor in the much changed Manchester United side as well, and there's huge lack of motivation for Manchester United. The only thing to lay the draw second half is this. No draw in 7 at home for Sunderland. Scored in the last 15, but that's when they needed to pick up points. So it's a difficult one to weigh up this for the Black Cats. Do need to win. Can you trust them? Because realistically, we've only got one team working for us to get that single goal. Second half beginning, Stevenage and Stockport. How long are you going to wait before you lay that draw? If you laid over 0.5 goals at the start of the match, remember, the longer you delay, the bigger the return if you get a single goal. But the longer you delay, the more of a chance you have of missing the second half goal. So let's see if I can get to 55 minutes with Stevenage and Stockport. If I can, great stuff. Burgos giving a good account against Almeria, who we know must get a result to get themselves top. But they look, it just looks nervy, doesn't it, for Almeria? No corners, no shots. Burgos still have European attentions, 62 plus 3 is 65 with Castillon only drawing earlier on. So it's one of those matches. It's a must-win for both teams. It is. Yes, looks like a lay the draw. Right, Burgos picking up 2 consecutive draws. One of them a 0-0, which I don't like. Don't like seeing 0-0s, but both teams to score is a strong pattern for Almeria. 2 goals is a strong pattern for Almeria. But pre-match, 2.5 the favourite tells you the market is respecting Burgos' intent, that they're playing at home and they have European ambition as well. Porto B against Sporting Lisbon B. We can look as the goals come in, how impactful these goals are in this second tier in Portugal. So how has this changed the complexion? Don't forget these 0-0s at the base are the ones I will be looking at taking on. Portimonense and Oliveirense are losing. That's going to be music to Pacos Penafiel Forense's ears if they can get a win with these 2 dropping points, the bottom 2 dropping points, particularly for Pacos, the gap between themselves and the bottom 2. If Pacos can find their way to at least a relegation playoff place, they've got another swing of the bat. But this presents a good opportunity now, particularly with little to interest the top sides. Apart from Turenza, who aren't playing, I don't think, today. Of the sides who are playing, there's little motivating factor at the top, plenty at the bottom. Chavs make it 1-1. Sporting a goal down, just keep losing. And that is music to Forenza, Penafiel's and Pacos's ears. If we can get 13th, 17th and 18th losing, all we have to do is get a positive result to tighten the gap for the final day of the season. So it's warming up nicely at the bottom there as these goals come in. We've only got 2 draws left. We're going to have a look to see whether we're going to get a reaction from Sporting, but can you really trust the side with all of those consecutive defeats, even though they do need to win? 20 attacks to 2 tells you that Sporting are up for this today. Can you trust them? Pacos Ferreira Rocher, still no shots on target. They are definitely up for this one today. So the Portuguese we've stumbled across could be well worth our attention. And Manchester United, ever the threat under Michael Carrick. Has he made any changes second half? Let's have a look. They have started to motor a little second half now, Manchester United. Any changes? Unlikely we're going to see any changes. just yet, but they've just started. You can see that change in momentum. Just that there. Are you willing to lay the draw second half? You could get Manchester United to score arguably. Now they've woken up. I do prefer both teams playing for you if you wanted to take on that draw. Stevenage and Stockport, my first port of call is the 55th minute there. Can I get to 60? Let's have a look. Well, we can get out now. It's 100% return. Zulta Valagem +1. Delighted with that. Are you going to be laying the draw here? It's difficult because if it does end 0-0, you'll say, why on earth did I get involved? Man United got F all to play for. If you want to lay the draw now, what you could do, you could give yourselves an out, a third of liability as loss, exit point, and give your effectively buy yourself some time for there to be a goal scored. I wouldn't put it past Man U getting the job done now. They've woken up, the momentum has shifted, but Sunderland do need to score as well. Goals are coming. And Portimonense made it 1-1. Vitally important goal for them in Portugal. Let's have a look. So we can, there we go, Portimonense goal. The goals are flowing now. La Louvière 1-1 against Cercle Brugge. No opinion on that one. 2-0 for Paulson. We can get rid of that one now. I'll get rid of Fulham and Bournemouth. 2 red cards, not playing that one. It'll be just like the Hoff to concede a late equaliser. We will see. Portimonense goal. How important is that to them? We've got 3 odds on, 4 odds on favourites today. It's those 0-0s I'm interested in though late on. But Portimonense could be a vitally important equaliser for them. So Portimonense, boom, up now into the automatic promotion spot with that single point. Not automatic promotion, relegation playoff. Relegation playoff place with that single point. So Pacos Ferreira must get a result today, even a draw for them. They will still be bottom 2. A win, they'll be on 39 and put Penafiel in for the final day of the season, despite the goal difference being appalling for Pacos. So certainly laying the draw second half for Pacos could be an option. Portimonense get a win and they could be on 39 at Penafiel in all sorts of bother. So Penafiel Forenza, you can see the importance of getting that draw ending. That's going to be a very late play for me. Sporting. 21 attacks to 5. Yeah, making the right noises. But 5 consecutive defeats coming into this match totally wipes out your enthusiasm. Hope you're all okay. Let's take a walk through. Get rid of this one. I'll get rid of the Hoff now, even though wouldn't surprise me to see a late 1-1. I'm not going to be playing DZ today. Just waiting to see whether you can lay that draw Sunderland and Manchester United. Stevenage, we're going to get to the hour mark. So if you do it in 5-minute increments, are you willing to take another 5 minutes out of the market? And if you are, you'll be rewarded. We're getting to evens now, so this will be a 40 quid return if we can get just a goal. So we're starting to get to the level now where our return will be better than our liability. Is there going to be a goal? If so, when's it going to arrive? And can I get on the draw before the goal arrives? You can see still a slight move from Stevenage at the beginning of the second half, but then that's curtailed. Man United, the switch in momentum beginning of the second half there as well, as you can see. Almeria, I would have, well, no, I don't expect, do I? It's 2.5 the favourite. Burgos have European ambitions as well. So I don't expect Almeria, just because they're third, to get the win that they require. I'll get rid of these Austrian matches today. A bit later on, it's going to be a bit quiet as well, as you can see. Although Turkey at 6 o'clock, it's the last day of the season. And indeed, French Ligue 2 as well. Last day of the season there. Hope you've been playing some of those, because we had Serie B, I think, yesterday as well. Porto B, if they get that second goal, Sporting will find themselves in a spot of bother. It's not looking good for them despite their 22 attacks. 5 defeats, odds on at home. I've seen better odds on shots than that. That is for sure. So it's been very, very quiet. Sunderland and Man United, and the initial reaction to the second half from Man U has petered out. Completely changed side. No need to win. And Sunderland not had any shot on target since the 25th minute. Stevenage and Stockport, as you are, please. Let's retain that. I'll get rid of DZ. Albacete contra Leonessa. Not a strong opinion on that one either. So I might give this live stream an early bath soon, because there's just a lack of goals coming in. I'll give it probably just a 4:30 end today. We're paying the price for the Championship, League 1 and League 2 leaving us, aren't we? Let's have a look at the tennis. While we're here, we have time. So let's see how these matches are unfolding. So Nakashima, Batista Agut got an opening set from Nakashima. And Bellucci getting the win. Superb stuff for him there. Koboli, 2-3 down to Atmane. Now, if this was 2-4 to Atmane, I would get involved now. 2-4 is a flatteringly deceiving scoreline. It makes you look like you're way ahead. But one single break of serve and you're back on parity. So this is going with service. So ideally, we need Atmane to be broken. Or indeed, I could do with Atmane winning the first set, to be honest. The Frenchman. Cavalli at home, front of home support, at odds on. Yes, please. Basil, playing Shelton, 1.22. Francis Tiafoe, I think he'll give Bousset a run for his money. So I could see that one being more competitive. Yannick Sinner, of course, Pellegrino later on. These earlier matches, is there anything I would have played there? Well, this is what you look at. 1.67, losing the first set, wins the next. Even though we lost the match, that's the trade. Rublev, behaving himself, arguably. Cameron Norrie going out to a South American on clay. Would have been difficult for me to have taken on the South American on clay, despite the odds. But yet again, check the second half. Again, losing 2-0, but did Cameron Norrie break serve second set? Because as we're learning with tennis, it's the hint that can get you out. So let's have a look. Cameron Norrie, no. No, lost serve right at the end. You absolute Egypt. So this would have been a frustrating trading match. You'd have had to take a red or an early exit because it just wasn't working for Cameron Norrie on clay. Difficult to take on South Americans on clay. This one here had Garin won the first set in a tiebreaker, which is 7-6 is a tiebreaker. It's the tightest set you can get. Then would have had an interest in Davidovich Fokina second set comeback. You've already seen 3-1 up second set, Aguilar-Liciem not winning. Yet another culprit, South American. Coincidence? Anybody? These South Americans are giving a good account on this surface. In the ladies' game, well, Sabalenka, 1.13 favourite. Could have done with this set being the other way around. Castilla winning the first set, losing the second. That's my key angle in. No other plays there. Later on, you'll be laying Andreeva if you can get 1.05 or lower right at the off. Don't forget, it's mano v mano. Any muscle injury, she can't palm the match off to anybody else. Any slight niggle, and she's on her Todd. Any just being mentally off her game, Andreeva, and we can take advantage laying at the off at those ridiculously short odds. Townend and Jovic, what do you notice about this match? Two Americans playing each other. What do you notice about the odds? 1.73 the favourite. Arguably, therefore, if Townsend wins the first set, which she could, because she'll know her opponent's match well, won't she? If she wins the first set, Townsend, she could arguably fight back. Jovic could fight back, and we could see a three-setter. So I do like fellow country people playing each other as well. I do look out for that. It's just an obvious play, isn't it? You'll know each other's games from Davis Cup tennis, and you can often get the insider track on taking them on their service. So that's a quick look at the tennis. Go back to yesterday as well while we're waiting for goals, and ask yourself, do you see any trading angles? Well, let's have a look. Our old pal de Minaur, he's out of sorts. He's out of sorts. Remember that 2-0 defeat. Normally as reliable as a clock, as clockwork, de Minaur. But this is disappointing, and yet another Italian in Italy. You could have arguably laid de Minaur winning the first set because he'll be very short odds, in the hope that Arnaldi, front of home support, gives a good account, which he did. So it's all about finding value angles in, keep your liability low, and to see if you can get that reaction from the local lad. Got a goal coming in. Sandvikens against Lungskiller. I'm going to get rid of that. Sunderland and Man United, as you can see, I'm a bit reluctant to lay that draw there because Man U don't need to win. Sunderland haven't had a shot on target since the 25th minute. We're up to 70 minutes now for Stevenage. And you're getting odds on now. 48 quid. Does that tempt you in? 50 quid if we can get a single goal. 50 quid minus your £5 lost insurance on the 0-0. You can see when this technique works, you can get yourself some big money, can't you? But when do you play? Still, it's very nice. Mid. No one side dominating. Exactly what we're after. Let's have a look at some of the tennis from yesterday. 1.25 shot. What a pity that Struff didn't win the first set and a tiebreaker. That would have been a nice angle in there. As Kovacevic won the first set over Van der Zandschulp. 1.25 shot, losing the first set, wins the second. Goes on and wins the match. Boom. That's exactly what we're off. A few 1.06 shots, I would still be laying them, just in case you get something like this. Fellow Germans, got to be laying him if you can get anywhere near 1.08 at the off. Altmaier might just give a good account. Any others for any others? 1.44 shot blocks, and he's been in good nick. That for me would have been a banker bet yesterday. Losing the first set and a tiebreaker, winning the next two. He has been the standout performer, really, blocks. He's been one to trust. That would have been a decent play yesterday. Anyone for anyone else? No, you still plenty of trades there yesterday, just for that simple dropping the first set angle. Boom. Gibson, 7-5. Schneider, taking no prisoners. Boom, boom. I want you in my room, says Schneider. Bang, bang, job done. Any others? 1.10, Iga Swiatek. What a pity she didn't lose the first set in a tiebreaker. That would have been really good fun. Any others here? Looking at the three setters again, it's Americans meeting each other, so you should be familiar with this. The underdog wins the first set, and no doubt
she'll know Madison Keys' game very well. Madison Keys will know Stearns' game very well. Fight back for the odds-on shot. Boom, boom. Job done. Naomi Osaka did win the first set. Did drop the second. Sigmund and Alexandriova. Don't know what the odds were here. 1.62. Okay. Losing the first set. Wins the second in a tiebreaker. Just crossing the line there. But that would have been your trading profit there. Look at Valtert. 11-9, winning the first set in a huge tiebreaker. Baptiste, boom, boom. Job done. So you can see how many trades there were yesterday. If you're just following this. Underdog wins the first set. Underdog is an Italian. Exactly what we want to see. Italian fight, pre-match odds, returning to parity. Bang. 1 point. Arguably, you could have trusted her, perhaps. Losing the first set in a tiebreaker, wins the second in a tiebreaker, and pushes on. Andreeva, no worries. She won the first set, so I wouldn't have had an interest there, despite the fact that Masarova getting the job done. Cocchiaretta, Italian, odds on. If she lost the first set, I'd be very interested there. My future ex-wife, Maria Sakkari, what a pity. She couldn't put some fight up. Arguably, she could have had a go against Rybakina. So plenty of trades there yesterday in the ladies' game, in Rome. And I would recommend you playing in the summer because you know they're going to give 100%. You know that the market is quite accurate in their analysis. But you can as well use your own eyes and what you've seen for the likes of blocks, for example. Been outstanding. One to follow in the Grand Slams, this blocks. And you can still go and practice